Hey, so today's video, we wanted to talk to you about how to plant some really big trees and kind of give you some information about what it looks like and why the cost may be what it is for a landscape contractor to plant some really big trees. So this tree here behind us is a willow oak. This oak here is a 4.5-inch caliper tree. And for some people, you're like, what does that mean? And we want to talk about that and then talk about the process of how to plant that tree. So this tree is called a ball and burlap 4.5-inch caliper tree. What that means is that at the base of this tree, if you measure up 6 inches, they put a measurement on that, and that measurement gives us that 4.5-inch caliper size. You can get B&Bs in 2-inch, you can get B&Bs in 6-inch, and it really depends on that size at that 6-inch mark. So if you ever get a contractor that says, hey, I'm going to plant a 15-gallon shrub or a 15-gallon plant, 15-gallon tree, that basically is a huge big pot, 15 gallons. So basically the equivalent to 3 5-gallon buckets. When you get into bigger trees like these, they typically are sold by either height or by root ball size or caliper size. And so these particular ones were sold to us by caliper size. They were spec'd by the customer of that size. And so that's what we have here. And so I want to go through the process of how a tree is planted. So this tree, we dug this hole out, and we measured this root ball. This particular root ball was about 42 to 46 inches, and then it was about 42 to 46 inches wide. So you got your width and you got your depth. We brought an excavator in here. We were able to dig this hole and get that size adequate for the tree. Now, there's always this conversation of, do you dig it deeper? Do you dig it wider? And those kind of basis. There's a lot of that information out there. We recommend that you go ahead and that you dig the hole to about the depth of the root ball. These trees weigh about 2,000 to 2,500 pounds, give or take. And so when they weigh that have that much weight, you want to make sure that the bottom is sitting on something solid. If you dig the hole too deep, then what happens is over time, that tree can sink down in the ground. We don't want it to sink in the ground. We want it to stay at the spot that it is. So we recommend that you dig the hole to the depth of the pot. Dig the hole a little bit wider on each side. You can dig it. These particular ones we dug out about 6-8 inches to a foot on each side of the root ball, and then we backfilled that dirt. Because when you get a root ball or a B&B tree, the top is like this, and then it kind of curves in. So it's going to be like this wide, and then it kind of shapes in. And there's going to be a wire basket, and there's going to be burlap on that bag. And so when you plant it, you want that root ball to be just a little above the grade of the ground. Not a whole lot, but just a little bit above that. And then you want to push the wire basket down, and then you're going to cut off the excess burlap that's on the top of the root ball. From there, you're going to start putting your dirt in, and as you put the dirt back around the edges of the tree, you can stand the tree, get it straight, and do all those things. And then pack that dirt in there. As you're packing that dirt in there, it doesn't hurt to put some water in there. That'll allow the air bubbles to get out of the soil because we don't want air around the root zones of a tree. As you plant and put the dirt in there, you constantly just pack that dirt down in the hole until you get it to your ground level. Once you get it to ground level, this tree, you can see there's a ring around it, and you say, well, this is all mulch, right? But it technically is not. It is actually a tree ring around the edge. What that tree ring does is this acts like a little pond dam. We're going to have to water these trees manually. And so we're going to put water inside of this circle, and what that will do is that water will stay there. That ring is built right on the edge of the root ball. 2 reasons. If that root ball settles, that dirt settles, then some of this dirt will kind of pack its way down in there to hold the tree in place. But it'll also help keep that water right inside of the root zone of the tree. We want the water to be in that root zone so that it stays around this particular tree. Once you get that done, then we come to staking our trees. So you can see this is staked in 3 different places. It's staked with a oak stake. These are wooden stakes. The reason that we recommend wooden over a metal is because eventually, over time, this is going to rot and we're going to be able to break it off and get rid of it. If we had a metal T-post or a metal rod or something like that, that's going to be driven in the ground. And I don't know if you've ever tried to get one of those out before, but it takes a small act of Congress and a big old piece of equipment. So those are very hard to get out of the ground. These wooden T-posts, we just knock them loose or they break off and we go on about our day with that. So we put them strategically in a triangle shape. And the reason that we do that particular situation is because when that tree is there, the wind blows and we don't want it to go one direction. So that's why it's not 2 on one side and 1 on the other, but they are broken into 3 kind of components, 3 pieces about the same size. Then you can see that we have this arbor tie. All right. You can see this is not super tight. You could pull it really, really tight if you wanted, but you can see there's slack in it. The reason that we want some slack in it is because the wind is going to blow and move, and we want the tree to have some flexibility. We don't want it to be just a straight, rigid thing, because if it's a straight, rigid thing, and then the wind gets to blowing really hard, it's going to snap the tree off. So we do want it to have a little bit of play in it, and you can see this tree can move back and forth without a whole lot of issues. Good. We particularly use arbor tie over any other kind of string or rope. The reason that we like to use arbor tie is because it doesn't girdle the tree. Now, girdling of the tree is where these cross over right here. So this is your string, and we've tied them to the tree. But as you can tell, you can slide this back and forth. You can move that. You can even stick your finger up under these or behind these. And the reason that is because as this tree grows, we don't want that rope to grow inside of the tree. If it grows inside of the tree, then we have what's called girdling. And we actually, kind of like me taking my hands and putting it around your neck, and over time just squeezing your neck. It's eventually this part of the tree is going to be weak, or this is going to grow inside of the tree and inside of the bark, which is going to result in a very unhealthy tree. So we want to make sure that they're loose. I have seen in the past where clients have used a rope, and then they've used a piece of water hose so that the tree doesn't girdle. The potential and the issue with these are we only want these stakes on here long enough for this tree to get established. Once this tree starts getting its roots out into the root zone and out into the virgin dirt here, we will then take these off. Sometimes that's 6 months, sometimes that could be 8 months, but the biggest thing is we want to make that adjustment or cut these loose and take these up when that time is adequate and right. And so as you can see, both of these, and again, they're loose. They're not super, super loose, but they're loose enough that this tree has the flexibility to move without being completely snapped off, right? So that kind of covers the basis of a tree and the installation. Then we get into the mulch. So a lot of times we get to job sites, and over time, you'll see mulch will be built up on a tree this high. That is not the way you want to do it. This particular situation is you can see there's a little bit of mulch right on top. There's not a lot of mulch in here, and it's not up on this bark of the tree. So you don't want the mulch to be up on this part of the tree down at the bottom, the cambium, the outer casing of the tree itself. Because what happens is that will result in the development of mold, mildew, moisture around the bark. And it's like me and you. This bark is the outer skin of our arm. If we stick it in water all the time, then there's a good chance that over time our skin is going to crack. Well, it's the same exact issue with this here tree. Once you put bark around it, the bark's design is to hold moisture in the ground and moisture in the tree. That moisture is going to be held right around that bark, and then it's going to cause that bark to crack. And then that allows disease and issues and insects and other things to get into the inner wood and the inside of the tree, which will then result in long-term of it dying or not being a very healthy tree. That's the goal. Now, people say, well, what kind of mulch can we use? Or what's the type of mulches to use? In this case, we used the cypress chips. You could use cypress chips. You could use a dyed or a colored mulch. You could use pine straw. I don't highly recommend to put rocks around them. There are a number of people that do that. It is not completely recommended to do that because it just raises the temperature of the soil. It raises the temperature of the ground. And then long term, that doesn't help hold moisture to the ground and to do that in our recommendations. In about 6 months or so, we'll come back and we're going to cut these straps off and we're going to knock down this little mound of dirt around the edge so that it's smoothed out. But what we don't want so that the bark of the tree and then this big, huge pile of mulch right up on the tree itself. As you can tell, I am in a jacket today out here. The reason that is because these big trees like this, a lot of these bigger trees, you want to plant them at specific times of the year. So if you have wintertime is a great time to plant trees because all the sap is down. They're not in a transition phase. They're not going through a growth phase. And so the wintertime is a great time of the year for bigger trees. So if you're interested in planting big trees, go ahead and get that done in the winter months so that you're in good shape. You can add some additives. There's some different additives that can be added to the soil to amend the soil. You can use some products for mycorrhizas to help make the roots explode. You can also use a fertilizer in some of that. But you really need to kind of test your soil and get an idea of what amendments you may need if you need any for those products. So just a couple simple things on how we plant big trees, how we handle them, the way we handle them with care, and then digging the right holes in the right size, and then getting all of this kind of together so that this tree has a very successful life. And 10 or 15 years from now, hopefully, this tree will be a big, huge oak tree that'll provide plenty of shade for this city park. And if you need any help with big trees or making a selection of big trees, please reach out to us. Let us know. We'll be more than happy to help you with your trees and with tree selections for your outdoor landscape.